So we had the SID Display Week, and who are you?
I'm Chris King. I was the founder of Planar Systems, which at one time was the largest American flat panel display manufacturer. We started the company in 1983, and really was the first display technology that could do really good laptop displays, really good monitors. And so it was natural for us to get involved with SID. We were always a very technically driven company, and SID is where all the technology is reported, and you can meet people and network with people and find out what's going on in not only the United States but in Europe and Asia. And over the years, it's been so great to meet so many people here, and now that I'm kind of semi-retired, it's nice to come back and not only kind of try to keep up, even though I'm not actually involved, but I like to follow what's going on in technology, but also to meet friends that I've known for over 40 years now and interface with them and find out news about their lives and what they're doing and what technology they're excited about. So SID has just been a wonderful part of my life, and
for many years.
40 years in it, yeah.
40 years.
And you know, I still volunteer. I'm in the awards committee, where we try to give out SID's equivalent of the Nobel Prize for people that have made fantastic contribution. I mean, when you look at what has happened in the last 40 years, from displays that were on watches that you could hardly see in the sunlight, to now these huge, beautiful, colorful TV displays that you see in Best Buy and Costco. I mean, I don't know of any technology, even Moore's Law in the IC world, that has made such leaps in its capabilities as display technology has in the 40 years. So if you're not involved in SID, you're really missing out on a very exciting technology development area. So
did you kind of invent the laptop displays?
Well, we were in the really, what I consider the really first good laptop displays. You know, it was the first, you know, before they tried to put small CRTs in, and that wasn't really a laptop.
It was impossible to do,
They would
right?
look more like you know, we came from Tektronix. We were a spin-off from Tektronix, and it looked more like an oscilloscope than a laptop. And we were
able, like a thick thing they were trying to do?
Well, it's a kind of rectangular box, you know, because the CRTs are this thick, so you can't make a flat panel. And really, until you had flat panels, you could do the kind of the folding with the keyboard in one fold and the display in the other fold. And
how did you do that?
Well, it turned out that this technology we developed, which was thin film EL, had very fast response time. It had good viewing angle, and it was relatively power efficient. At that time, LCDs, which now is the dominant technology, had very severe viewing angles, response speed times, and they were only black and white, basically, more gray and dark gray.
So it's not LCD?
No, it's not LCD. It's a thin film, light-emitting film. You just apply electrical energy to it. It's like, I mean, what has happened is EL, which was inorganic when we started, has now evolved to organic. And so, like the beautiful televisions that LG makes, or the cell phones that Samsung makes, are organic EL. So the technology has continued in the organic field, not so much in the inorganic field where we were. But it's a wonderful, because if you LCD, you have the display itself is just a light valve. You have to have a light source, and you have to have color filters, and you have to have filters. With these electroluminescent displays, they create their own light, so you don't need a black light. You don't need these filters. They're thinner, they're lighter, and right now they're more efficient than LCDs.
So let's just walk over here for a second. So it's not LCD, it's not OLED, it's...
Well, it's electroluminescence. By definition, electroluminescence is the application of converting electrical energy into light energy. So OLEDs are electroluminescence, but they're made out of organic materials. Thin film EL that we worked on are made out of inorganic materials. They're actually kind of an evolution from a CRT, in that the phosphors in a CRT are inorganic, and so but in a CRT you hit them with an electron beam to give off light. We just applied electrode. They're like a little capacitor. You apply electrical energy across the capacitor and it gives off light. And that's the way electroluminescence work. Conversion of electrical energy into light energy.
And so what kind of laptop models were like the big famous ones back then when you started?
Digital had laptops. We had the first 19-inch monitors we did with DEC. Do you remember the digital equipment company?
Yeah.
Data General was another big one. Hewlett Packard had a laptop.
Which years are we talking about right now?
The mid-'80s.
The mid-'80s.
Mid-'80s, yeah. And it was really became the dominant technologies in the 80s, and then the Asians really invested in active matrix LCD, and that got to be very competitive. And so what EL became was a niche technology, mainly for medical, because it still had better performance than LCD, but it cost more.
Cost more.
So you needed to find a market that would pay for quality, and medical was our sweet spot. And at one time we owned like 40% of the medical market for EL displays. For patient monitors, measures your heart rate, EKG, these equipments that you apply what do you call them? You apply voltage to you to start a heart attack. God, I'm losing my...
Yeah, those machines that save people back from the...
Yeah.
But what does that have to do? Does it display on that? What do you say?
Well, the thing was about EL, it was it was all solid state. An LCD is two pieces of glass with a liquid in between it. So if you press on them, or if it gets too cold, that liquid freezes and it doesn't work very much. EL being a solid state material, it's already frozen basically, so it can be as cold as you want, it can be as hot as you want. Since it's just a thin film on a substrate, if you press on it, it doesn't distort like LCDs do, and it's very rugged. The military was also another big application. We had most of the displays in the armies for tanks and portable field radios and things like that.
Do you do full color?
Well, that was our Achilles heel. We could do red and green, but we had a hard time with blue. We never really were able to get it as efficient blue as we wanted to.
Why?
Well, we just couldn't work out the material science on that part of it, unfortunately.
Sometimes it's like magic and it's hard to make it real, right?
Right. And blue's always hard. I mean, OLED people still have trouble. Blue's always the hardest color, it seems like, because it's the highest energy. And when you apply that high of energy to a material, it tends to break it apart, and so the lifetime isn't as good. And that was what has been the problem with OLEDs, although I think they've made a lot of progress on that now, and maybe it's not so much a problem. I'm not an expert on that anymore.
So maybe they have blue.
Yeah, I think
maybe.
OLEDs, I think, have blue. What the lifetime is, I'm not sure.
If you don't have blue, how do you do it? How do you can do it?
You need it. You need it. Well, the other way is you have white and you put a color filter in front of it. Now that's what LCD does. It has a white light behind the LCD, and the LCD is a color filter, a color shutter, and then you have a color filter that makes it red, green, and blue just by dyes, right, basically.
And so, if you had figured out the blue, you would have been bigger than LCD today?
I don't know if we would have been bigger, but I think we've been pretty successful.
And so, is it kind of true to say that you were the American technology and the LCD was the Asian technology, or not quite?
Well,
but the investments were over there.
The original developments of both LCD and EL and plasma were done in the United States.
Yeah.
But the Asians really invested multi-billions of dollars in LCDs.
It's very important with the billions of dollars,
and
right?
so they became the cost leader. And so it wasn't that they invented it, but they perfected it, and they made manufacturing cost effective so the masses could afford it. I mean, our displays were always more expensive than LCDs. And so we needed a high value application in order to justify that cost.
Could it have been possible that if somebody had invested billions in your technology, then it would have...
It's possible.
Instead of LCD?
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, like I said, we weren't real successful in developing blue. But maybe if we didn't have billions of dollars either, so who knows?
Because I guess LCD realized many things also by having those billions of dollars to kind of like push themselves up every time there's an issue. They just find a way to fix it.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, like I said, they had viewing angles, they had color saturation problems, they had response speed, and they've managed to overcome all those things. And now, you know, OLEDs is challenging them, but with the addition of these quantum dots to the LCDs, they're fighting back against OLED. So I don't know who's going to win in the end.
And right here at the SID Display Week, there's all these kind of like friends, right, that are all in this business.
Yeah, I mean, this is a place where people can go and talk to each other and exchange ideas. I mean, there's certainly trade secrets that you don't talk about, but there's a lot of things you can talk about. And you have both personal and technical connections that, I'm retired now, but I still have these connections that I value very much through SID.
Displays are so important for humanity, right? This is our...
Well, if you look at our lifestyle now, I mean, if people didn't have their smartphone or their computer,
maybe they're looking at displays a little bit too much.
Maybe they could be,
But it's amazing. It's like so
amazing.
Important.
Yeah, I mean, again, we were in the medical field. I mean, we made these portable instruments that people could carry in the ambulance that, before you need a whole room full of equipment to make those measurements. And it's just amazing what flat panel displays have been able to, how it's been able to impact how humanity can bring information to the professions and to the regular consumer. I mean, it's a fantastic revolution.